Velma on HBO Max is the origin story for one of the most iconic characters in TV.
Real talk, Shiro to Shiro.
Look at the
People only
baby.
think you're a murderer
Please
because
stop.
you're a
And it is terrible. That's probably not the first time you've heard this. I mean, I've seen so many YouTube videos talking about how it's woke garbage and they should never have changed the race of the characters. But oh my gosh, there's a lot to get into on this show that goes beyond race and politics. The show does feel like an alt-right parody of what they think the world's coming to, but I want to tell you the real reason this show is so bad.
And how do you feel about race-blind casting, Daphne?
Well, as an Asian woman, I think it's cool.
The real reason that Velma sucks is because it breaks key principles that storytellers have been using for hundreds of years. I've been reading this book by Robert McKee called Story. Now, a lot of filmmakers read this book. It's super common in the industry, and that's kind of why I'm getting through it, because I've never read it before. And in the intro of this book, Robert McKee introduces a few key principles that the Velma screenwriters absolutely threw out the window, and not in a good way, because principles are principles because they've worked for a long time, but they are not rules. So there have been plenty filmmakers and screenwriters who have broken Robert McKee's rules and gotten away with it. I would say 99% of the time when somebody ignores what works, you get Velma. That's what happens. This principle is simple. Story is about archetypes, not stereotypes. The archetypal story unearths a universally human experience, then wraps itself inside a unique culture-specific expression. A stereotypical story reverses this pattern. It suffers a poverty of both content and form. It confines itself to narrow, culture-specific experiences and dresses in stale, non-specific generalities. The show references stereotypes like this a lot.
I thought lesbians were good at solving crimes. Malt shop owner is always a friendly black man or a spicy and meatball Italian.
Everyone loves it when white people play Jesus or a professional boxer. Why can't it ever go the other way, right?
You cheat off me in Spanish because you think I'm Mexican.
Maybe. Are you an exchange student from a more sexually liberated country?
When you view your characters through a stereotypical perspective, you're denying the humanity in a character and therefore alienating the audience. Sweeping generalizations can never capture the intricacies that people are capable of. Holding and perpetuating these stereotypes feels so strange on screen because it's generalizing an experience that has so many intricate feelings. TLDR, stereotypes aren't truth, so why focus on them in your show? They deny this principle to the absolute maximum. In Velma's backstory, her mom was a mystery author who went missing, and Velma has spent a very large portion of her life trying to solve her mom's disappearance. She was using her superpowers of solving mysteries to find her mom, which is a really big deal, and her dad just drops in the pilot episode, oh yeah, she just left us. There's no point in trying to solve her mystery. And then the next day, Velma is feeling so good about herself. And that makes no sense to me. That's not a human feeling. Now, what is the archetypal version for this show? Velma is a South Asian outsider at her high school. The popular kids at her school are picking on her for trying to solve the same mystery for 3 years: her mom's disappearance. They all tell her, there's no point, she's gone forever, you should quit now. But Velma, holding on to the hope that her mom still might be out there, has been searching tirelessly for years. In the middle of investigating a quote-unquote lead that she thinks just might lead her to her mom, she ends up stumbling across a mystery that takes her farther and pushes her more than she ever thought she could handle. Maybe when she finds this dead girl in the locker room, she uses this mystery-solving superpower to connect this murder with her mom's disappearance. And maybe after dozens of mysteries and Velma finally getting together the alliance of the original Scooby-Doo gang, but in this new and modern twist, Velma is still not any closer to finding her mom. At this bitter low point, her dad finally breaks the unfortunate news that her mom left their family. He didn't know how to break it to her when she was such a young girl, but now she knows, and this news absolutely changes her life. In this version of the story, Velma would be such a logical character that she could see all of the little pieces that made the world move, that made these mysteries happen, but deep down in her heart, She knew that her mom left, and she just always held on to that hope. It was that one thing that kept her going.
I'm gonna find my mom or die trying.
I have no idea if I just rambled or not. That's what this story is missing, an archetypal human experience that the audience can explore and get into. And I mean, it's void of all that. The proof's in the pudding. Now, that show sounds kind of intense, I know, but it can still be made comedic. It can still be hilarious, but it doesn't exist. Obviously, Velma growing up as a South Asian girl in high school has a lot of feeling and story attached to it. But to what extent Mindy Kaling actually wrote this story from her perspective is a little bit up in the air, because Charlie Grandy wrote this. And I just have to mention it because it doesn't look like this guy could write a story about what it feels like to be South Asian in high school. Call me crazy. I'm just saying. I know about writers' rooms. I know there must be South Asian women writing this show. I know there's probably Asian women writing this show, but I guess I don't see their voices come up in this, and it's a little weird. Obviously, this show deserves the 1.3 stars on IMDb. It is absolutely terrible, but I also want to help people understand how much of a story issue it is as a woke garbage issue. A lot of times on shows like these, there are so many cooks in the kitchen, so many people with opinions, that the show starts out one thing and ends up as this grotesque amalgamation of everything that everybody wanted. And part of me that thinks that this happened here. Well, now you know. That's all I have for you today. Remember to like and subscribe. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday, so don't miss them. And let me know in the comments below what you thought of Velma. And if you didn't watch it, then don't, because it is that bad. All right, goodbye.